My husband found me unconscious in a pool of blood on our nursery floor, and he still got on that flight to Scottsdale. I want you to sit with that sentence for a second because I did. For weeks afterward, I sat with it every single day, trying to understand how a man who once cried at our wedding could step over his wife's body and worry about missing his tea time. My name is Megan Sinclair. I'm 29. I live in a quiet subdivision outside Denver, Colorado. And 9 days before the worst morning of my life, I gave birth to our son, Noah. I need you to understand who I was before that morning, because the woman who finally stood up for herself didn't come out of nowhere. I had spent 4 years married to Derek Sinclair, a commercial real estate agent with a gorgeous smile and a talent for making other people feel like the problem. Small things at first. He'd forget to pick up my prenatal vitamins, but never forgot his gym bag. He'd tell his buddies I was hormonal when I asked him to put his phone down at dinner. I told myself every marriage has friction. I told myself a lot of things. When I got pregnant, Derek was thrilled, publicly. He posted the sonogram. He told his mother we were finally starting our family. Privately, he complained that I was less fun than I used to be, easier to be around. I chalked it up to stress. I was 3 months from becoming someone's mother, and I didn't have room in my head for doubt. Noah arrived on a Tuesday in March, 7 pounds, 4 ounces, with Derek's stubborn chin and my mother's eyes. And for exactly 4 days, Derek was a decent father. Then his 42nd birthday came into view on the calendar, and so did the golf trip to Scottsdale he'd already booked with his college friends. Booked. I would later learn, before Noah was even born. By day 8, something was wrong with my body. The bleeding wasn't slowing down. I had a fever that came and went. I called the after-hours line at my OB's office, and the nurse told me to watch it and come in if it worsened. It worsened. I told Derek at breakfast. He said, "You're being dramatic. Meg, every woman bleeds after having a baby." I believed him, because believing him was easier than being scared alone. The morning he left, he made me tea. That detail still catches in my throat. 4 years of marriage and maybe 6 cups of tea, and he chose that morning to make one. Sit with me while I drank it and tell me I looked pale. 20 minutes later, I couldn't lift my arm off the mattress. He stepped over me in the hallway. I remember the carry-on wheels clicking against the hardwood. I remember him saying, "Don't call unless it's an actual emergency." Like the 18-hour labor and the blood soaking. Through my sweatpants weren't already one. What saved me wasn't a dramatic instinct or a miracle. It was my sister Claire in Chicago and a $40 baby monitor app we'd set up together when I was still pregnant, so she could see Noah from 1,000 miles away. Claire checked in most mornings. That morning, when I didn't answer 3 calls in a row, she opened the app out of habit, and instead of a sleeping baby, she saw the corner of the nursery floor and my hand not moving. She called 911 from Chicago while our neighbor, Diane Whitfield, a retired ICU nurse who'd waved to me exactly twice, broke through my backslider door because it was faster than waiting for a locksmith. Diane found me and got Noah into her arms before the paramedics even turned onto our street. I woke up at St. Luke's 2 days later, according to the clock, though it felt like no time had passed at all. Noah was fine. I was not. The ER doctor told me my blood loss alone shouldn't have caused me to lose consciousness. That fast, not with the numbers on my chart. That sentence sat wrong with everyone in scrubs for the rest of that day. It was a hospital pharmacist, reviewing my talk screen for something else entirely, who flagged it. My system showed nearly triple the dose of the oxycodone. I'd been prescribed for my C-section pains pills. I hadn't touched since day 3. Pills I still had 11 of, sitting untouched in my nightstand drawer. 11 pills that should have been 14. Detective Renee Ford, who caught my case, didn't need a warrant to start asking questions. She needed a life. Insurance agent named Gary Holt, who called our house 2 days, later asking why no one had returned his messages about finalizing the increased policy, a policy Derek had upgraded 4 months before Noah was even born, naming himself as beneficiary. No changes made after our son's birth. Derek had never mentioned it to me. When they searched Derek's truck at the airport lot in Scottsdale, they found a pharmacy printout tucked in the glove box. My name, my prescription number, a note in his handwriting that just said 3XT. He hadn't been careful. Men like Derek rarely think they'll need to be. Detective Ford told me his exact words when they told him I'd survived. Not relief, not fear. He said, "That's not possible." Then he asked for a lawyer. Derek was charged with attempted murder and insurance fraud. Vanessa, the coworker he'd been seeing for 8 months, cooperated fully once she realized how much he'd hidden from her too, including the fact that he'd told her I was already gone the week before he left. I filed for divorce from my hospital bed, Claire beside me, Noah asleep in a bassinet the nurses had wheeled in special. My attorney says the case is strong. Detective Ford says it's one of the cleanest paper trails she's seen in 19 years. Noah is 5 months old now. He laughs at ceiling fans and grips my finger like he already knows how much I fought to still be here to hold his hand. Derek thought a tea time in Scottsdale was worth more than the life he left behind on that nursery floor. He was wrong. And he's going to have a long time to think about exactly how wrong.